Today, the area is again barricaded and streets with burning tyres. Journalists are also reportedly being threatened by the anti-eviction protesters. Violence broke out yesterday when a company contracted by the Tshwane Metro carried out demolitions and evictions. 2 Red Ants workers were killed and a few other people injured. The Mayoral Committee says at least 16,000 people have been illegally occupying land in Sekampaneng. For more on that story, we're now joined live by a report on the scene. Offence's team. Offense, a very good afternoon to you. What is the latest with regards to the protest in Hammanskraal?
Thanks, Alicia. We're coming to you live outside the municipal offices here in Hammanskraal, where some of the residents of Sekampaneng assembled here to vent their anger after their shacks were actually demolished last night. Basically, what they are saying is the fact that they were not given enough time to actually prepare for the demolitions, as they did not actually get the eviction notices from the city of Tshwane, and that really angered them, resulting in violent protests yesterday, which resulted in 3 buses getting torched, 2 people getting killed, and some motorists reporting that their cars were actually stoned. But the situation right now is very calm but still very tense. Some of the residents were actually waiting for Paul Mashatile. There were some reports earlier that Paul Mashatile would actually come to the municipal offices here in Hammanskraal to come and address some of the angry residents of Sekampaneng. And we also earlier, while speaking to some of the leadership of the community, went through the eviction notice, which actually is dated to the 10th of July in 2014. So they are saying that during that time, Sekampaneng was actually not there at the time. So they are actually baffled as to why a eviction notice dated 2014 would actually be used to evict some of these residences. Back to you.
Offense, now look, speaking of leadership, we hear that a meeting was held with various stakeholders about the current situation. Tell us who was part of that meeting and what was the outcome of that?
From what we've heard, the meeting that actually took place, it was there in Sekampaneng. It was mostly the residents taking a resolution that going forward they will not be forced to evict without them actually volunteering themselves to actually be evicted. So it's not actually clear if there were any officials among those that actually assembled for the meeting, but as far as information that we've gathered so far, it was actually mostly the residents of Sekampaneng informal settlement who met among themselves following the violent evictions that took place last night.
Have you uncovered any details now in regards to the suspects that killed the 2 Red Ants employees yesterday, Offense?
We spoke to the police officer that's speaking on behalf of the SABC on this matter, and what they've told us so far, the latest reports that we got yesterday was that 4 people were arrested, but now we've heard that apparently a 5th person has also been arrested, bringing the number to 5 of the people that have been arrested. They have not furnished us with some of the charges that will be laid against the people who committed the crimes yesterday, and from what we've heard, the number still remains, even though there were some contradicting reports, the number still remains at 2 of those that actually passed away during the protests following the evictions that took place. We also spoke to a woman who actually slept overnight with her 3 kids, and what happened is that they had nowhere else to go due to the short notice. They did not have any transportations to carry their luggage in order to go to an alternative accommodation, and most of the residents are still torn as to whether to stay in Sekampaneng or to relocate. Some are scared that if they stay, their shacks will be broken down, while others are saying that the proper procedure was not followed, and they will stick it out and they will fight further if the Red Ants to come to try and demolish their shacks again.
All right, very quickly, Offense, I can see we're losing picture there, but if you can answer us, are the evictions continuing now despite these protests?
Can you repeat that?
Are the evictions continuing despite the protests in Sekampaneng?
The evictions have stopped following the 2 murders that actually happened yesterday. So the situation is actually very tense at the informal settlement there. So the situation is that the police have promised to protect some of the residents from any eviction that should take place, because the residents were saying that they were looking for some of the officials who can actually address them and speak to them about some of the situation that's happening in their homes. Some actually call these places homes, but when the children came back from school, they found that the homes had been demolished and everything. So the residents had wanted an answer or some sort of an explanation from some of the officials from the city of Tshwane. And having struggled to actually locate their local councillor up until today, and having to struggle to locate the local chief, the residents have decided that, you know, with the police protection, they will remain at Sekampaneng, but they still want an official who can sort of give them an official written consent or an official written permission for them to reside at Sekampaneng officially.
Thank you for that update, Offences Dimo. He's live to us from Hammanskraal.